Recording in progress.
Welcome in the latest episode of the Bet and Pitch Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, Real_G Warner. Tonight, we're going through the Champions League quarterfinals, first legs. We'll find best bets from Tuesday and Wednesday, the 7th and 8th of April. Then we'll get ready to do another round of these games next week when they come back after league play this weekend. We also have Europa League planned coming out on Wednesday night for Thursday. Plus, trying to get A Brooks Bets back on baseball podcast on this channel. For now, feel free to look for Straight Outta Vegas AM on the pregame.com feed. And of course, pregame now on Twitter. And then myself at the Real_G Warner, wherever you get your podcasts, social media content, anything sort of like that. Twitter, Instagram, at the Real_G Warner on YouTube, and Betting the Pitch Apple Podcast and on Spotify. Just finished off a great NCAA tournament with Big East Ben. We ended up both dropping our double best bet on Michigan by a single point on the last night of the tournament. That was brutal. But, we were 17-5, 77% heading into that event on Monday night. So I guess that sort of thing would happen. Finishing 71% for a tournament as a team, picking every game. Well, picking a best bet from every night of the tournament and picking every game. Not so bad, I don't think. So in this episode, we're going to go through Champions League. Me, myself, and Irene at this point, but we're going to get into it. And we'll start with Real Madrid hosting Bayern München, as I am wearing a FC Bayern shirt from a time when I was in Munich. I think fresh off of an Afghani restaurant, which is wild, but interesting nonetheless. And Real Madrid, in incredible fashion, are an underdog yet again in this tournament. Much smaller underdogs than they were to Manchester City in the previous round, the round of 16. And that went very well for Real Madrid and maybe revitalized a season that looked like it was lost when Xavi Alonso was shown the door. Though I don't know how much I trust in new manager Arbeloa. I do like his background, that he's a Jose Mourinho disciple, and I think that's a better style of play to bet Real Madrid as an underdog. But Bayern München have been like the best club in the world and have been treated like it in the marketplace. So current number, Real Madrid are a quarter goal underdog with almost all the juice, 18 of the 20 cents at Bet Online. If you're not a member of Bet Online and you want to save some money, certainly on Premier League matches in the English Premier League, but also certainly throughout the soccer slate, hit me up at the Real_G Warner, wherever you get your podcasts or wherever you get your social media. Total in this one is 3.25. Juice very heavily to over, 3.5. Juice very heavily to under. So it looks like we're kind of throttling between that area. Real Madrid certainly has the offense. 4 goals doesn't seem like a ton between these two offenses, though certainly when two great offenses play against each other, there's only one football. So that does make it a lot more difficult to score. I don't know who's playing under here. So you might, if you like under, I would suggest waiting, as I would on almost every soccer match in this history of the world. But I also want to, because I haven't actually jotted down the futures to advanced numbers. And just to remind everyone who's not been with us before, it's a big deal to play the second leg at home. So that will dictate most of the numbers here, and certainly will in this one as well, as Bayern are favored away from home. So that doesn't say so much, I guess. But I guess we'll go and grab that number now. So let's scroll down to it. Okay, Champions League quarterfinals. We have Real Madrid. They are plus 211 to advance. That is at home in the first leg. Big deal that they're not hosting the second leg, unfortunately, for any Blancos, any merengues that are out there. Now, Bayern München, they're minus 255 to advance, which is probably about as small of a handle as we've seen in many of these. I guess we've seen probably some minus 125, minus 105, so 30 cents there. But 44, not so bad for this size of a favorite. I say that somewhat in jest, but good luck for finding better numbers through a lot of the too advanced stuff. To summarize, I like teams that are at home for the second leg or teams that I think are really undervalued and will win the first leg. Real Madrid certainly proved that point in the first leg against Manchester City and could do that here. But, man, going to Munich is a really, really tough task, much more difficult than a trip to the blue side of Manchester. So I don't know if there's a lot for me in that one necessarily. This is a 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time start. So no early matches finally that we have to worry about. But that means everything will be up at once. But if you're like me and you watch it on delay, it doesn't really matter unless you get spoiled because every match day seems to get spoiled in some form or fashion. And I think that's my next business venture, is trying to figure out a way to prevent your friends from spoiling the games you're going to watch. And I think it would be valuable for a lot of people that go to an actual office or something like that. So I'd love to stop doing that. But we're there until we find some other opportunity. Move to the second matchup, both starting at the same time, 2 p.m. Central Time in the United States, Dallas version, or anywhere, Chicago, anywhere like that. And that is Sporting Lisboa hosting Arsenal. And I was pretty surprised by this number, I got to say. Yes, Arsenal have been arguably really fortunate so far this season. You could say that they've been the best team in England, but have they really been, or has it just been everyone else was so dysfunctional? Well, that doesn't matter so much here because they've been great in Champions League and they drew the best team you could play. Sporting Lisboa. And we're actually seeing some alternate lines, which is great. Bet Online. Thank you for doing that, Dave Mason. I know you've been listening to the podcast, used to support it. Would love for you to come back for that. But really appreciate the support and throwing us some alternative lines. But looks like the normal, usual one is Sporting Lisboa, a half a goal underdog at home to Arsenal. Total is 2.5, just a little bit more to under. Every match Arsenal plays, I don't know how anyone doesn't lean under. Sporting Lisboa are probably more aggressive and attacking than they were in the days before Manchester United hired their savant away. And then both clubs basically went in the toilet, essentially, at least relative versus expectations. Sporting Lisboa certainly making Champions League has been better, but you could argue that Ruben Amorim kind of blew them both up. Arsenal on the other side, they've been scoring goals from set pieces, which are extremely low expected goal events, and from tiring out the other team because they've been dominating the whole time. Now, why I think this matchup might be different, and certainly the marketplace does, with making Sporting Lisboa a half or 3/4 goal underdog, which is not large in my humble opinion. And that is that they just don't really believe in the Arsenal offense, especially away from home. And when there are second legs of these competitions, whether cup competitions or continental ones, is that they're usually played very, very conservatively because you don't want to get eliminated in the first leg. Now, the home team certainly needs a victory here, especially because going on the road to the Emirates is going to be so difficult in North London in the second leg next week on Wednesday, most likely. But number is really respectful of Sporting Lisboa. I'm going to take that to, I guess, in some sort of way to believe that Sporting Lisboa are going to be really competitive here, because that's what you need. You need a competitive match. You also need Sporting Lisboa not to throw everything and all caution to the wind if they fall behind in their first leg, knowing that they need a result and probably need a win at home. But if that first goal goes in at Sporting Lisboa, yes, Arsenal will amp up their efforts to try to equalize and potentially put their defense at risk. But that's a really nice scenario. But I think any sort of underplay is just wait as long as possible till the first goal goes in. You need 3 to beat me. I might feel Arsenal total has been tiny for a while, so it's not unique that I lean this way, and the market does too, it seems to me. But there's a chance that we see a 2 3/4. I don't think it's likely based on where the juice is pointing, but you never know with UK money dominating Champions League and always believing in the big favorite, and it's a road one. So that generally means a smaller total, but we'll see kind of how that all looks. But I gotta say, SCP, Sporting Lisboa, Clube de Portugal, or Sporting Clube de Portugal. Let's see it, because the market certainly believes that they're going to compete, and we'll see if they do. For the ultimate best bet portion of the show, it's the end of the episode. I try to pick my favorite bet across the 2 days, smash them together, one selection from Tuesday and one from Wednesday in Champions League specifically. And I will stick with that Sporting Lisboa Arsenal under 2.5. But before we move too far away from here, let's go to the 2 advanced number, and that puts Sporting Lisboa at +5. About 5-1, 501, one extra penny for some reason. Arsenal minus 692. So not a lot of belief in the home teams on Tuesday, but that's natural, and it's probably how it should be. We'll now move to Wednesday. Before we get there, I want to plug the Straight Out of Vegas AM feed, What I Bet, which I'll be doing Major League Baseball, and a Tuesday recap of my soccer interests, which you just heard, but I'll put them out there on pregame.com. Also want, if you want to hear some baseball stuff, hit up at @ABrooksBets on Twitter and request it. See how many we can flood his inbox with, and maybe that microphone he bought will actually stop collecting dust. Now move to Wednesday. We'll go to Barcelona hosting Atletico Madrid as they've played in Copa del Rey. They're now playing two legs there, 2 legs here in Champions League. And it's awesome because I really love betting Atleti against Barcelona. I think they play more defensively against Barcelona than anybody else, which is exactly what I want them to return to. And I really like that setup. So in this matchup, Atletico Madrid on the road in the first leg going to Camp Nou, which is a big deal because it's actually a meaningful home field environment where it hasn't been so long, though there's still construction going on. So it's still not up to 100%. But Barcelona are 1-goal favorite with all the juice right now, just 1 cent of juice on Atletico Madrid +1. I love getting a push on a single goal loss. And that number's bigger than I made it and looks like it's heading towards 1.25. All things I like. Total this was 3.5. Juice very heavily to under right now, 19 to 20 cents. So 1 cent on Atleti, 1 cent on over. So that tells me there's some faith in the under out there. It's bigger than I made it, but Atletico Madrid certainly have shown goals in their matches with Barcelona. And I just don't know that's enough for me to want to get involved too much here. But I do like the Atleti side +1. And we'll now look at the 2 advanced number. And here's one where Atletico Madrid get the second leg at home. And that's where I love underdog situations. We'll start to look at this one. Barcelona currently -286 to advance. Atletico Madrid are +235. And that is with the second leg at home. If they get a win on the road at Camp Nou, that number will be long gone. If they draw, long gone. Reduced. Maybe not long gone, but reduced. If Barcelona win, I think we see a very similar number, maybe a little bit bigger, but I think there's a lot of situations where Atletico Madrid get a lot more expensive, I'll put it that way, with a good result at Barca. And I think we see the old Diego Simeone come out and he just tries to stymie Barcelona the whole time. Give me Atleti +1. I'm interested in under 3.5, but I don't know that I want to play both sides in case I'm wrong about how either Simeone plays this game or how successful Barcelona does from creating opportunities, or maybe their back line and how shaky it can be. We'll now move to the last game we'll cover on this episode of the Betting the Pitch Soccer Podcast. We'll start on, I guess the first leg is in Paris for Paris Saint-Germain hosting Liverpool. Currently, Liverpool are 3/4 goal underdogs. Juice is split both ways, so no real telling if it's going towards 1/2 goal underdog or +1. Total is 3.25, juice pretty heavily to under 18 of those 20 cents. And do we believe in Liverpool? Looked horrible at Galatasaray, but blasted them in the second leg at home at Anfield. That all helped. But now they're going on the road to Paris. Yes, they've been playing better since a horrible start to the season. But is that because they've been more defensive? Is that actually because they figured things out? I'm not really sure. PSG's been really disappointing this entire season as well. Hard to follow up winning every single title you could and make it to the finals, I think, of the Club World Cup this summer. I'm not sure how much that impacted them. But France hasn't been as easy. Champions League has not been as easy. And they're still a big favorite to one of the biggest clubs in the world. Now, Liverpool, I doubt we'll get to a 1-goal underdog. I'll be certainly waiting for that. Number's bigger than I made it right now anyway. So I do like the 3/4. Only lose half a bet if they lose by a single goal on the road. And that's a lot out there for them to potentially win a bet for you just with a draw, win with a win, of course, and not really lose that much unless you lose by 2 or more. Total this one's 3.25. I don't really feel unders are good for either of these two teams. Liverpool don't really want to defend, but have had to. PSG don't want to defend. They want to control the ball and squeeze you out. And the nice part is that Liverpool are a big underdog, I think, because PSG's name and their success in this competition, but I don't think it's enough for me. So I'm very interested in Liverpool, especially if we get a +1, though I don't think we'll get it. Now for the ultimate best bet portion show, I guess this is going to be a briefer episode, which is good because it's already Tuesday here in Dallas, Texas. But for my nominee from the Wednesday Champions League quarterfinal round, first leg, I will nominate Atletico Madrid a 1-goal underdog. And that is on the road at Barcelona. Now it's time for the ultimate best bet, which I will put on @thereal_GWarner on Instagram and @thereal_GWarner on YouTube. You can find youtube.com/@thereal_GWarner. We've got 265 subscribers, so we're a long way away from advertisements, but we are rolling and trying to get as many as possible before the World Cup. If you have any ideas, want to throw something in the comments or hit me up at @thereal_GWarner across any social media platform. Love to come up with some ideas to get you as much as you can engaged get as much engagement as possible, get you engaged with the World Cup that's coming, because there's going to be a lot of matches out there. It's in the U.S. I'm going to a bunch of matches, and we're going to make some real money like we did in Qatar, like we did in Russia, in every place. And we got a lot of bad teams in there, allegedly, which is really good. And that's exactly where we will shine. So we'll see how that goes. But for ultimate best bet on this episode, I think we're going to go with a very familiar matchup of teams that have seen each other a lot this year. Currently, Atletico Madrid are 1-goal underdog at Barcelona. I'm holding out for that 1.25. We'll see if that happens before kickoff. It should on Wednesday. Got a while till we get there. But I'll say play Atletico Madrid +1 at the minimum. If they drop to 3/4 goal, that'd be significant and probably is still a good enough bet there. But I'd grab it at +1 before you see it falling away. But I'm waiting for +1.25. We'll see if that comes before kickoff on Wednesday. But for now, it's been great rocking with you. We'll see you in the next episode. The Bet and Pitch Apple Podcast, Spotify, at @real_G Warner on YouTube and on Instagram, plus Twitter.
Recording stopped.